Hello and welcome everybody to another cast by yours truly, Joseki, bringing you a game between Strelok and Socke, who are both very high-level European players. This is going to be a Terran versus Protoss. Before I get started, I'd like to say that this commentary is copyright 2010 by iccup.com, so please do not go stealing it. We have the yellow Protoss Socke spawning here on the right-hand side of the map. I don't know if it's Socke or Socke. I'm pretty sure it's just Socke, like the E is silent. I'm just going to call him Socke because that's a cute clothing item. And Strelok here on the left-hand side is the red Terran. Strelok, one of the more notorious Terran players here in the beta for some pretty innovative and unique strategies. Hopefully we do see some more of that from him this game. Socke, I don't know a lot about him. I'm not sure if he's... I believe he's a Warcraft 3 player, but he might be a Brood War player. I'm not exactly sure. His name sounds very familiar, though, among high-level players that I've heard of. I may have actually played against him on the European ladder, too, while I was playing. So, I see Socke opening up with that really early pylon, using all of his chrono boosts thus far on making more probes. When another probe starts building, he immediately chrono boosts that to try and get some more juice out of it. Setting out a scout probe now, not scouting in the usual pattern. Actually, he's just going to check out the Zelnaga watchtower. Check out the watchtower, make sure there's any like proper proxy Reaper stuff going on in the middle of the map before darting down here to check this expansion. We have the Terran player doing a very standard build order with the 12 racks, 10 supply into racks, into then a refinery in that order, basically as soon as you have the money for it. And really playing very standard, nothing new or exciting here. He's going to immediately get this orbital command here and start making a marine. And he's going to be scouting as well. So both players opening up very standard, positioning themselves for a macro game. We do have the cybernetics core now of Socke being thrown down. Pretty standard stuff. I do like, however, positionally how he's kind of putting these pylons back here. A lot of Protoss will clump their pylons up against this little wall here, and what that does is when the Terran comes in with a Marauder Marine Force, if he's going to do a cheese or a rush, having these pylons further back means that the Terran has to come basically further into the Zerg base or around, either way further in and further away from his escape route, which is the ramp, to take out these pylons, which are the most vulnerable structure in the Protoss base, since typically small skirmish forces of Marines and Marauders aren't going to be able to, only a couple units, really aren't going to be able to take out a large number of probes without being killed themselves. So typically, Terrans will go for the pylons, and having pylons pushed back this far is actually something that a lot of Protoss have been doing to me, and it makes it a lot harder to do those sort of 3 racks attacks. We do have a Stalker now popping out here for Socke, as well as the Terran player getting a fast reactor, as well as a fast factory. So once this reactor is off, you'll see he's going to immediately start producing some more Marines. He does have that second gas up for his tech, and now sending out a couple of Marines to go to this watchtower. And this is something that really separates, one of those little things that separates high-level players from high-tier players that aren't necessarily pros, is just little things like this, like scaring the probe away from the watchtower and sending him home, or just doing this little bit of preemptive scouting here with these Marines, and that really just sort of puts the Protoss player on edge. Doesn't let him always know what you're going to do, so it's important. And now we do have only Marines here and 2 Stalkers coming over here from Socke, so this could be actually kind of bad for the Terran player, as Stalkers not only outrange Marines, but really don't take very much damage from them at all. Even when the Marines are in large numbers, it's very hard to kill Stalkers, simply because the Stalkers are so quick and have such high range. So now Stalker's going to come up the ramp, poke a little bit, and really, you see, he took out a Marine at basically no cost. The Stalker's really not going to get damaged at all. And really, the dancing of these Stalkers, if Socke controls this well, Strelok's never going to be able to do any damage. So now he manages to take all the shields off of these Stalkers, but as we know with the new shields in StarCraft 2, that isn't really going to affect a whole lot. Once this first tank does pop out, though, it should be relatively easy to deal with any number of Stalkers with Marine support, simply because tanks like 4-shot Stalkers, it's really gross. So you'll see when this tank pops out, the Protoss will basically be forced to retreat, as you can see, and that tank is actually so strong that Strelok isn't even afraid to move out of his base to engage the Protoss player outside, away from the protection of his ramp. So very, very intelligent play here. And now we have this tank, like 1 shot, it's already in orange HP. That was totally insane. So now we do have sort of a little bit of a push here coming out for Strelok. Strelok bringing up all these forces, but there is a sentry as well as a very healthy amount of stalkers. And now with this Twilight Council researching Blink, this might actually be the end for a Socke, or maybe do a bunch of economic damage, because having this one tank is fairly substantial. Now siege mode goes off. I don't know how I feel about that. Probably not the wisest decision. Gonna manage to take out another unit there. SCV's not really contributing to the fight. We do have another siege tank coming in, but it is a bit late. And now the protoss player is forced to move back. Siege mode going off here. Gonna do a bunch of damage there to all those stalkers, and that was kind of nice positional play there by Strelok, though I feel as though Socke could have moved in with those 3 stalkers and taken out that siege tank. Now, as you can see, there is an expansion going down here for Strelok, and really, one of the key things in Protoss vs. Terran is that expansion timing. You really want to know exactly when you need to get the expansion. It's all positional play. So it's like, in the situation like this, he has siege mode, he has 2 tanks, he's continuing to pump Marines, and he just traded a significant amount of his forces for the forces of Socke. And in units lost, the Terran is down, but with siege mode, he's going to be able to defend off very large attacks by the Protoss player. But now, with this little cheesy timing attack that Socke's going to do, he's going to bring this observer over to the cliff of the Terran player, blink his stalkers up, and potentially try and do a lot of damage here. But with these 3 siege tanks leapfrogged the way they are, I feel as though with some solid micro and decent positioning from the Terran player, he's going to be able to hold this off relatively easily. So here comes the Stalkers, observer up on the cliff now, and here we go. The Stalkers are going to blink up pretty much immediately. As soon as he sees exactly what's going on, he's going to bring his Stalkers down low. And now with the Stalkers the way they are, he's going to it's just going to be really hard for the Terran player to really do a whole lot, simply because there's a lot of units scattered about. As you can see, he has to bring 2 more tanks up, and he just has to slowly leapfrog things. So, for example, for as long as the Terran is going to be available in the area, for as long as he can, basically, until he pushes these stalkers out of his base, he is going to be able to have to deal with this threat by leapfrogging his units. However, Marines trading for... oh my goodness. And that was fantastic play there by Socke, using that blink micro and that long-distance cliff to escape the wrath of all those Marines and siege tanks. Definitely approve of that play. We do have a bunker now going up in the front of this orbital command center that is being warped in, as well as Socke, who is throwing down an expansion of his own. So this game actually playing out to be fairly even and interesting, as both players' little timing attacks weren't exactly the most successful. So they each did a little bit of damage each other, but right now the Protoss is certainly a teensy bit ahead, simply because he hasn't lost as many units, and he's had his tech pumped for a while now. He has his Templar archives up, and he's really moving into making more high-tier units. So he has a tech advantage. However, the Terran player did get this expansion done a little bit sooner, so as far as income is concerned, the Terran player is going to be ahead for a little bit here, which means that it's going to give him an opportunity to catch up on that tech. So after it's all said and done, this very well could end up being an even game. And, we do have quite a bit left in the replay, so obviously some more stuff goes down. And now we do have a dropship loaded up with an SCV, 3 Marines in a tank. I have no idea what that combination is supposed to mean. Could mean, taking this island expansion. It could mean dropping on this cliff and making a turret to keep observers away while sieging. It could mean so much. It's just, confusing. So now this medevac is sort of just flying around the map. It's going to sort of scoot around, see that there are no expansions, and then continue to move on forward here, probably over to this